So in this video, I'm going to discuss how you could get the Portuguese nationality, the citizenship easily. What is the easiest way? Now, a lot of you guys watching are looking for unique ways to qualify. You don't want to put in the hard work. You want easy options. Is there an option without any physical presence? Yes, there is. I'm going to discuss that. I'm going to discuss a traditional option to do this. And then I'm also going to discuss something totally fresh, something totally new. So it's going to be an engaging video. And before I get started, there's a quick disclaimer. None of this information is legal advice. Always consult an attorney. And alternatively, if you are interested in starting any of the two options that I'm going to mention in this video, you can click the link, book a call, we can discuss and get you started with either or options. Now, first, let me get the traditional option out of the way. Now, regarding the second option, which is going to come up in the second part, Portugal had a separate dedicated website for processing these cases. These cases are super fast. They don't compare with the normal traditional route. So it's the fastest way possibly get residency in Portugal. I'm going to discuss all those details in the second half. But first, let me get the traditional way out of the way. So the traditional option is the Portugal Golden Visa. A lot of you guys already know the legal threshold is 500k, but then there's a legal hack to that. You can deposit just 300k euros. We work with a developer. The developer adds approximately 200k euros, and that gets locked into the Golden Visa. The actual residency takes a lot of time. It takes 12 months or so, but your time to citizenship instantly starts once you file for residency online. So once the application is uploaded to their portal, it's accepted, your time to citizenship starts. And there's credible news that this option might end in the near future. There's a lot of news outlets that's reporting on this. There's a lot of buzz in the political circles that they might close this option, but at least as of now, this option is available. What are the perks or what are the advantages of this option? The biggest advantage of this option is to get locked into the Portugal residency, which does not require too much time on the ground. Just 7 days of physical presence, which I would say is next to none, right? I mean, normally anyone would go to the EU area at least for a week in a year, and Portugal is one of the best countries in that region, so 7 days a year is not a big deal at all. So that was the major advantage of this option. And then you could apply for citizenship after 5 years, and then you were waiting for your nationality. You would have gotten back all the monies that you put in plus a profit of 100k euros as a return along with your capital. The biggest con of this option is not everyone feels the burning need to put 300k of upfront cost, right? They don't want to park that much money. So that is the inertia. It's like, all right, it's a heavy commitment. I'm not quite too sure. I would love a Portugal residency. I would love, absolutely love an EU passport, but 300k stuck for 5 years or maybe 6 years is a lot of commitment. And that's where there's the second option that I would like to pinpoint. No one else has really brought this up, and I would like to shed light. Now, anyone, right? Anyone of you guys watching can actually strike this option and qualify. And I'm going to discuss the CPLP residency. And Portugal has always had a separate dedicated website for such residency permits. The process was very simple. Let's say you enter in visa free. Once you're in the territory, you go online, you apply, and you would usually get processed in 72 hours. 3 days and your permit was done. This was an A4 size certificate of paper permit, but now as part of the modernization, they have gotten away with that paper A4 size permit because that was not really allowed inside the Schengen zone, I should say. So it was fine in Portugal. You could carry the certificate around. They would recognize it, but then it did not have the biometrics feature on the card, or they didn't have the card in order for you to freely travel within the Schengen area. That's where this adds a lot of advantages. They have gotten away with that 1 year certificate. Now it's going to be a 2 years card, which is going to be applicable in the Schengen area. So by striking this residency, you have access to the Schengen area. What is the biggest advantage of this type of residency? The biggest advantage is no child in the country. You don't need that. You don't need to marry anyone in the country. You don't need to find a job in Portugal. It's really, once you qualify through, if you have some financial means and the normal police certificate, birth certificate, and all those kind of civil documents, the fact that you have the CPLP nationality. I'm going to discuss how this can be obtained in just 30 days. Once you have the CPLP qualification, let's say you entered visa free, you have some sort of access. Either you have a Plan A passport that lets you enter Portugal, and then you're exercising your rights as a CPLP national to enter and then apply for this residency. The new changes that they have brought about requires an appointment for the biometrics. So you got to give your thumbprint for that card, so you are then eligible to travel freely within the Schengen area, and that way you can obtain a 2 years residency permit without any real other qualifying criteria, right, other than the normal documents that you would otherwise provide. And then you can renew this permit in 2 years increments, and then after 5 years you can obviously apply for your Portugal nationality. Now, is this permit flexible? Yes, this permit is much more flexible than the normal D7 and D6 and the D2s, but obviously it's not as crazy or anywhere near as the Golden Visa. The Golden Visa has the maximum flexibility. Now, the CPLP residents do enjoy unique benefits. They do get some flexibility, so you can be smart about how you're utilizing your time, and as long as you have legitimate reasons for the travel, it can be structured. Now, what is the biggest comparison point between the Golden Visa and this permit? Of course, the Golden Visa cost a lot of money. You got to put up a lot of capital and then wait for it to be released. So there's a lot of opportunity cost, if you will, that's involved with this type of permit. This is free for any CPLP national. Now, what is a CPLP national? Who qualifies? Now, I'm going to put up the countries on your list, but you can Google search this. You can type in CPLP countries, and it's going to show you all the countries that speak Portuguese as their primary language or national language. They are Portuguese speaking countries, and if you are from one of those countries, then obviously you are qualified to apply for a CPLP permit. A separate topic, there are some extraordinary benefits and fast track naturalization in Brazil if you are a CPLP national. And if you want to learn more about how that process works, I'm going to extend this video by sharing those details that's already been covered. You can return and take a look at this video. This talks about the advantages to fast track Brazil, also potentially waive language requirements there. It comes with certain conditions, and if you want to learn how that works, again, as I said, you can always reach us. We can discuss and get you started with the CPLP and see if you qualify for Brazil or not. But let's come back to Portugal. Are there any language waiver benefits over here? Yes, there seems to be a clause where if you come from a CPLP country, you could potentially waive the language requirements. Based on what I have seen, I didn't see any specific distinction between by birth or by naturalization. Again, I could be wrong, so that's where you always would talk to an attorney before you proceed on any option. And as I said, you can always reach us and we can connect you with the right professionals. Now, how do you acquire a CPLP nationality? It's through exception. We directly liaison with the officials of the country. It's a citizenship by exception program. In 30 days, you get the whole package with all the things that you need. Get the ID, you get the passport, all legally obtained, issued by the government, expedited through VIP means, again, all legally paid for and expedited. You get the police report certified and legalized from the country. You get a copy of the nationality law stamped and sealed and certified by the country, which authorizes a citizenship by exception. And you also have some African mobility options with the citizenship. So it's really an action-packed passport. It's not just CPLP, it has other advantages, other mobility rights as well. And of course, there's some other hidden features or unique features that can be advantageous for the right kind of people. If you have missed that video where I've talked about some interesting scenarios, you can take a look at this video. But let's discuss the documentation requirements for the CPLP nationality. These are the bare minimum documents that you would need to naturalize. Simple stuff like your passport, your utility bill copies and stuff like that, and maybe a couple of other documents documents that can get you on your path to this nationality. Thankfully, this nationality does not follow the Hague Convention. It's not a party to the Hague Convention. So there is no apostille. The normal stuff, the normal things that you do with your documents is perfectly fine. It works. So that really speeds up the process. 100% remote process, right? So that's very advantageous. A lot of people have the money, they have the means, and they really don't want to wait. They want to provide their documents remotely and then get the citizenship sitting at home in 30 days. What else can you ask for? Well, let's come to the price for a second here. The Golden Visa, of course, you're looking at 300k plus added fees, and those are in euros. So you're looking at 350 plus USD of capital upfront that's required. This citizenship is far cheaper than the cheapest CBI out there, right? The known CBI is out there. It's approximately half the cost, and it's 100%, absolutely 100% lower than 100k, right? Starting price, of course. And if you add more functionality, or if you add a ton of family members, then it will add a little bit to the cost, but the base price starts, well, it does start below 100k is what I can say. This is not a CBI, it's an exception. So you got to understand the prices cannot be published or disclosed. This is through exception. A small amount goes a long way in benefiting the country, and those hidden features, right, like the African mobility, the CPLP, goes a long way in benefiting you, the investor. And the objective of this video is to highlight the potential. Don't take my word for it, right? Those are different countries. Brazil is a different nation. Portugal is a different nation. How they react to this passport is completely beyond the scope of this one. No guarantees, right? Because as I said, this is not immigration or legal advice. This is something that you need to explore and check for yourself. What I can confidently say is this nationality does get you some very unique, rare access to some great countries, at least 3 important, vital, functional countries where you can enter and strike residency permits and then use this passport for layering purposes. Exotic layering, advanced layering. Now you could layer on Vanuatu or Nauru, and we do directly provide services for those as well. Our liaison has the direct prime vendor license with the government. So let's say you're trying to strike a Nauru or Vanuatu, or let's say this country, we can discuss which one is the best and also get you started with whichever option that makes sense. Now, before you go, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the updates that I'll be sharing. I share a lot of new options, scenarios, permutation, combination, legal hacks, and stuff like that. So if you are subscribed, you are the first one to be notified. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and catch you in the next one.